Well, not live. We're recording now.
Okay. I was also concerned about the time, but because in Yard Stream you see the time when you go live.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in this one. This is recording, but it's. Let me refresh Facebook. And just make sure. Yeah, it's not live, but we are recording. So
Okay,
anybody
good.
that watches this after the fact, if we didn't capture the first half, probably going to wonder why my eyes are a little red.
Would you like to share what we
Yeah.
talked about?
Yeah, so we've spent this, a little bit of time here with a little one-on-one coaching, which we hope to share, and I guess we'll have to schedule another time. But kind of going back for me, the biggest something that I struggle with today, that I've struggled with for a long time, is that feeling of regret, feeling of I could have done more. I should have been. So the people are going to watch this now, and they've got the emotional part. It hasn't taken time to bubble up. It's already bubbled up. But yeah, I just, growing up, I felt like I was kind of on my own from the age of 5. My mom had to work. She had to do what she had to do to put food on the table and pay the bills. So I don't fault her at all, because she did the best she could with what she had. And my dad, my biological father's not in the picture, so she didn't have help for a long time. And I, here I am at the age of 46, looking back to myself as a child, and almost beat myself up because I didn't have the courage to do I didn't have the courage to step out and be uncomfortable and just trust that there was going to be, that everything was going to work out okay. And I'm kind of mad at myself for not doing that as a kid, but also understanding that I was just a kid. And so, and trying to, well, and what, maybe the watchers didn't see is in the conversation. Like I said, I'm not sure. I kind of got caught up in a moment and didn't hit the right button, perhaps. But thinking about, going to my son's football game and watching him out there and just being successful and feeling great about the success and things he's doing out there and the opportunities he's had. But it also, on the other side of it, inside of me, there's a feeling of regret, because I wanted to play sports in high school, and because of my mom's situation, having to work and I didn't really, I didn't have a way to and from school besides the normal bus. So if I had to stay after to practice or anything like that, I said, well, nobody's going to want to give me a ride home. I just quit, I just quit, and I went to work. And I went to work at, well, heck, I was working from the time I was 14 on different things. And yeah, just, I don't know. One part of me feels good because I'm where I'm at and I'm able to share my story and help others. And then there's still a part of me that just wants to be able to go back and have a do-over, because for some reason I feel like if I could go back and do things over, I wouldn't have any problems, right? My life would be perfect, and I know that's not the case. I just don't know why I live with so much regret from the past. And there is that, and because I have that regret, because I hold it inside, I don't have a large circle of friends. I have a very small circle, of which I don't really get to see them as much as I'd like to, just because we're in different areas and we've got different things going on in our lives. But I do feel alone. I do feel alone, especially the later it gets at night when the rest of the world goes to sleep. I'm up, stuck with, stuck with my emotion. And I've tried to mask that pain, I think, with different things throughout my life, whether it be relationships or alcohol or whatever. And that's what I think that I do really feel like having that sense of regret, not being able to let go of the past, is slowing down my future.
Mm-hmm.
It's causing me to it's just causing the wheels to spin slower than they should be.
That's a beautiful insight, because living a life of regret is really living in a different time zone. And as you spoke about in the beginning, you feel like you're carrying this carry-on baggage with you through your life. And living in a different time zone means we're not present with what is actually happening here, with what opportunities are coming our way now, and what gifts are coming our way now. And I think one of the powerful parts of us talk together was just to feel the regret, let it come up, let that sadness and that loneliness come up, because there is a boy I hear who was very alone, who didn't have, it's not about blaming or understanding our parents, it's just about understanding the impact today, who possibly didn't have a parent to say, I've got your back, I'll be there for you when you finish your practice, go on, you can do it. And now there's a sense of needing to reparent yourself.
Right.
And as we said earlier, the path that you were on has been the gift to your boys today.
Yeah.
You are the father you are because of that path.
Yeah. But even that, I think, well, I could have been a better father. I think there's a lot of self-doubt in there still too. Like, you could have done better. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm so critical of myself.
I presume that is also from a much younger place.
Yeah.
Where Brian criticized, and that's what he heard from the closest adults around him.
Yeah.
What you had in your life. And to just feel, let's just feel that sadness. It's coming up.
Yeah. It's all right there, and it's just a swirl. It's like just a swirl of thoughts and feelings. I just, kind of feel like I need to stand up on a big hill and just yell, and yell and let it all out. I mean, that's the feeling I have when I let that surface up, and it kind of hangs out right here. It's like I just want to take it out and get rid of it, so it's not there. Because even though I'm successful in my own ways today, I have a hard time recognizing that, because I always go back to, well, yeah, okay, it's okay. Things are going okay right now, but they could have been better. They could have been better if you would have done this. It could have been better if you done that.
We often feel what you were just saying so beautifully now. If I could just get rid of this part, if I could just get rid of this arm, well, I surely don't need this arm as well, right? But we need all of us. all of the parts of Brian, the parts that are frozen and sad, the parts that are happy. Because if we only have parts of Brian, we don't have the whole Brian. And we were speaking about in intimate relationships where you show up as only part of Brian out of fear, out of lack of trust. And then those relationships don't last. And possibly as a father, you sometimes don't show up fully either.
Right.
And it's when we love ourselves completely with all the warts and with all the scars and the woundings and the sadness that we show up really beautifully.
Yeah. And that's the hard part for me, because I was thinking about this just yesterday of, that self-love, and it's a hard concept for me to grasp, because I don't think I love helping people. I love being there for others, but when it comes to myself, it's like, I don't really like myself that much. It's I don't dislike myself, but I think I have a hard time embracing life as it is and thinking for the future rather than dwelling in the past. And
I would hesitate. Guess that when you were a boy, things were so painful, you wished you were in the future and a grown up. And so, what we often do is we take on roles which we're too young for. So, you mentioned starting to work very early. Children are supposed to be, the river should flow down the mountain, parents should nurture, take care of children, but not every parent can. And so, sometimes children take on roles for which they get well rewarded, they get attention that they need, but they're too young for those roles. And then we see that pain coming out in the adult and in the adult relationships.
Yeah, that's definitely true, because I moved out of my parents' home when I was 16, and had to grow up pretty fast. I didn't really have a time to be a kid and just really enjoy life.
So that's the sadness. I didn't have that opportunity to fully have that stage in my life. Let's just feel that a moment.
Yeah. That one hurts. Yeah. I guess I kind of feel angry about it too.
Something was taken from you that should rightfully have been yours.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling better. It's almost like the tears release a little bit of the angst. Let that go a little bit, and it definitely gets lighter here.
Definitely lighter. You spoke about a weight earlier being inside.
Yeah.
Feel a sense of melting.
Yeah, it's not as heavy as it was just a minute ago.
Beautiful. So it's not a matter of getting rid of it or fixing it or bringing it up. It's part of you. That sadness, that anger.
Yeah.
And you can just give it its space. Once we try and crush it all the time, it will seek out its space.
Right. And then it, probably comes out at the wrong times when you try to suppress it and it's looking to get out, because I know there's been times where little things can trigger an emotional outburst, I guess, for lack of a better term.
That's a beautiful, beautiful description, because that's what reactivity is, a trauma from a different time that's been triggered. In other words, you're not seeing your partner now, you're seeing your mother, your father, the critical voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you can take a minute, just breathe and come back to presence, say, oh, this is my partner opposite me. This isn't my enemy, my adversary. This is somebody who wants to be with me, be on my side. I can be here. Then you can be responsible. You can act in a way that is responsive to emotion rather than being reactive. That's the child. That's the
Right.
young, the adaptive child that's acting out.
Yeah. I do feel better.
You do.
Kind of just letting that bubble up and simmer back down. That helps. It helps a lot. Yeah.
So what one action, what one wow within 1 week or within one what within 1 day can you take on? What one action can you take on to help yourself feel better?
I think
Before we go.
I think I need to spend more time letting those emotions bubble up this week and just let them surface and say what they got to say, and then just understand. It's almost like when you going back to childhood, when you deal with an angry child, sometimes you just got to let them have their outburst and cry and scream and whatever they got to do. And then, once they get that out of their system, they go back to coloring or whatever it is. That's what I feel like for me is I just need to carve out some intentional time in the day and say, okay, for the next 30 minutes, I'm just going to let it surface and I'm just going to let it bubble up. And even as, as uncomfortable as it may feel for 30 minutes, I know once I let it get out, I feel better. I feel lighter now. So I can't imagine what it's going to feel like when I give it more time to just really surface and do what it's got to do. So I think
check in with yourself. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's in fact what you're asking. Hey, can I maybe like Brian a little bit more?
Yeah.
Can I hang out with him a little bit? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
We've had a good time together.
Yeah, we got some of it. Some of it.
We did.
Hopefully we've captured this entire time, but like I said,
and we'll do more.
Yeah.
And thank you, Brian, for your courage and your vulnerability. This is so beautiful, and I have no doubt so healing for so many others, which is really what you also want, which also gives your life so much meaning. So thank you.
Thank you.